Just ahead, a visit with John Schneider, who is coming to Atomic Speedway May 6th, 7th, and 8th. He'll explain why in just a moment. Glad to have the fella that's going to be with us in early May, Bo Duke. Well, you know him also as John Schneider. Good to have you here today, John. Thanks for joining.
That's the first. That's the first. I love that. Bo Duke, also known as John Schneider. That's right. I think I just turned a corner. I just turned a corner, by God.
Well, here's why I did this, because I first knew you as Bo Duke. And then this John Schneider comes out with a song, It's Now or Never. And I'm a young disc jockey playing this. And I'm like, wait a second, that's the guy from Dukes of Hazzard. So I knew Bo before.
It's now or never. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that was just last week, wasn't it? Was it last week?
Seems like it. I tell you, time flies. It really does.
In many regards, it does. Isn't it funny? You know, my parents would say that, you know, time really flies. When you're a kid, a school year is an eternity, right? In high school took at least 40 years as far as I was concerned. And I got out in 3. I got out for time off for good behavior. But now, my gosh, somebody says, well, you know, that could take a year. I go, oh, all right, great. Right? A year is what a month used to be. Anyhow.
Yeah.
I'm delighted to be here. Yes, It's Now or Never was the first song, and there's been, I think, 24 albums since that one now.
24.
So there's been a lot of music in my life. Yeah. I think it might actually be 25, but who's counting? The new one I think is the best one, though. I mean, I really do. I think Southern Ways is the best album I've ever had anything to do with. It's got my favorite song in the world on it, called Younger Man. It's got one of my favorite songs as a kid on it that I redid. The Bellamy Brothers have become very, very good friends of ours. And I love the notion of saying I'm a grandson of the Southland and an heir to the Confederacy. I love putting that out there so that the Dixie Chicks and Lady Antebellum can just go pound sand.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm from New York. I'm a recovering Yankee. So, and I redid a Dottie West song. I met Dottie on Dukes of Hazzard. She fell into Boss Hogg Speed Trap. Mm-hmm. And she had an amazing song. And I told her, I said, that's my favorite song of yours, because it's got such... And she said, John, one of these days you'll have a woman in your life that you'll want to sing this song to. And I said, and I'll redo it at that point. Well, Dottie has gone on to her reward. And I dedicated the song Lesson and Leaving, which is basically somebody's going to give you a lesson and leaving, somebody's going to give you back what you've been given. And I hope that I'm around to watch him knock you down. So I dedicated that song to my ex-wife.
Uh-huh. Hopefully you've got a new song for your new wife.
I do. That's Younger Man.
No, Younger Man. Gotcha.
Younger Man. Yeah. So they're both on there. And you know, I'm the reason I'm coming now. I'm going to race at Atomic. Yeah. And I'm just crazy about dirt track racing. So we have a song on the album that's from Poker Run, which is a movie we just had out, Southern horsepower comedy, called Let's Get Dirty. And nice. No, it's not about the bar restaurant across from the daycare. It's actually about dirt track racing. Yeah. So yeah, it's a great song. Let's get dirty, let's get loud. We're gonna watch them good old boys go round and round. So it's a great song written by Cody McCarver, who also wrote Younger Man, and who sings on Poker Run with me. So there's a song that is the title track to the movie Poker Run, oddly enough called Poker Run. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how we came up with that.
Yeah, some things just
written by myself, right? It's like, you know, Cody McCarver, John Schneider, and Keith Burns from Trick Pony. We wrote the song Poker Run. And It's great. This is basically a brand new 1975 Southern rock album.
That's what I was raised on.
Yeah, you know, not Southern pop. No, not country rap, because, you know, you put those word country rap, you get crap. This is not rockabilly.
Yeah.
No, it's not Dwight Yoakam. Mm-hmm. It's not Steve Earle. It's Southern rock. It's more Marshall Tucker Band, Leonard Skinner, early Eagles. So I just love it. I finally have the band at I'm going to be 62 next week. Well, this week. So I'm going to be 62 this week. And I finally have the band I thought I had in high school. And if you had a band in high school in the 70s, then you know exactly what I just meant.
Yeah. Only took you about 50 years.
Oh, man, we're great. We're great.
We do want to talk about why you are here. As you mentioned, you will be making an appearance that first weekend in May for Atomic Speedway. And this is a package. It's kind of like something of what you're doing down in Louisiana, isn't it? Coming up later this month.
Yeah. Yep. It's kind of a mini Bo's Extravaganza. So we've got music. We're going to be showing Poker Run and Stand on It, I believe. I think we're going to do a double feature. What we did year before last is basically I had promised Burt Reynolds. Burt Reynolds became a very good friend of mine. Yes, he did do the Dukes of Hazzard travesty, but he did it with love. He played Boss Hogg.
Yeah.
But I promised him one of these days I would try to bring back Southern horsepower comedy, which is what Smoking the Bandit was, which is what Stroker Ace was, Gator, all of those movies that were so popular when I was in high school. Kind of been shoved by the wayside. And as we spoke earlier, most everything that sounds like it's Southern has been deemed politically incorrect. So I'm doing everything I can to fight that as well. So I got into dirt track racing. And we did a movie that was a tribute to Smoking the Bandit called Stand on It. And then I got into dirt track racing, and then we did Poker Run. And there's a wonderful scene in Poker Run that looks like it takes place on one dirt track. It actually takes place on about 6.
Is that right?
So I was out racing in Mississippi, and then I was racing at Boyd Speedway, and then I was racing at Lucas Oil Speedway. And all of this footage put together makes for this segment in Poker Run. But it's all me, and I am loving this more than I ever thought I would love anything. After 50, really, I thought, you know, after 50 you should stop taking up new habits that might break you in half. But I've thrown that by the wayside.
Because you still do some stunt work, so to speak, with your cars.
And I tell you what, because of it, I am now stupid fearless. So at Bo's Extravaganza here, which is the 23rd and 24th, I'm going to be jumping a Challenger over a monster truck about 150 feet into a bunch of Home Depot boxes. As part of the third installment, we have Stand on It, Poker Run, and we're doing a third movie called Double or Nothing. And in Double or Nothing, I jump a car over a monster truck. So I'm going to be doing that here at our event for everyone to see and go, oh, what is this? What is he thinking? But Warner Brothers wouldn't let me jump the General Lee when we did Duke. So now, you know, it's my sandbox. I'll jump anything I want.
Yeah, yeah. Do you get to do this more than one take, or what's the?
No, we only have one car.
Just one car. Okay. That's the budget speaking right there, right?
So, you know, we get a lot of cameras now.
Yeah.
A lot of cameras. Yeah. And I encourage folks to, 2 years ago, a stunt guy, not me, jumped a car over the Tickfaw River, which is about 300 yards from where I am right now. And we had probably 1,500 people on the shore filming it with their cameras as it went. So when I jump the car, we'll probably have another 1,500, 2,000 people here watching that. And I encourage people to go live on your Facebook and go live on wherever it is you prefer to go live. You know, whatever social media you identify as, do that. And then it helps promote the movie, but it's also pretty exciting. You don't get to see that sort of a thing every day.
That's right. I will tell you that folks on the list, you've got driving experiences. So you can, John Schneider's Ride with Bo. So, and for a long time, Atomic Speedway has been billed as the world's fastest 3/8 high bank track. And you'll get a chance to go around that track with John Schneider. That should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be a whole lot of fun.
Yeah.
So now, I'm not sure. Many times people will bring up, there'll be a General Lee there, and I'll take people for rides around town or around the area. It's going to depend entirely, whether or not we go on the track is going to depend entirely upon the track conditions, number one. You know, if it has rained, you couldn't do 2 miles an hour in a streetcar on that track. You
Right.
just slide down into the center. So it's going to depend on that, and it's going to depend on the condition of the car that shows up. Because as you know, race cars are built differently. If I go at speed on that track in a street car, it's liable to come right off the tires are liable to come right off the rims.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure that we're going to be going around that track, but we will be going around. So there is a Ride with Bo opportunity. I'll take you for a ride in the General Lee. You have to purchase that. It's not free, because I'd be doing that until my next birthday if it was free. So you purchase that, and we're going to have a big time. I'm going to do the national anthem. We're going to be playing music, but I do the national anthem before the race. Tell a little story about the writing, the circumstances under which our national anthem was written, so that people understand what it is, because most people don't. Most people have not dug into the circumstances of what happened that night at Fort McHenry and with Francis Scott Key's. Why was he there, and why did he write the song? Why don't we let the flag touch the ground? Why is taking a knee really a bad idea? So I explain all of that, or at least I offer that up for people to think about, perhaps for the first time. So then I do the national anthem, and then we get out there and mix it up. I'm sure we've got a heat race. We're going to pack the track. We've got heat races. Then we've got the main event. So it should be a whole lot of fun.
I do want to ask you, because we were friends with Glenn Beck back during the day at our radio days, and how he has gone out independently on his own, started his own deal. And through your entrepreneurship, through recording for music, filming with movies like you've done, you're doing all this on your own now, and you don't have to rely on Hollywood. And when you said, you know, whatever platform you use, go live and you can show what's going on, that I think is what we have become, really.
Oh, yeah.
The people have a choice.
They do have a choice. It used to be 3 when Dukes was on. There were ABC, CBS, NBC. Then we expanded into home box office and then cable, and now I don't know how many channels there are. Maybe 1,500. I have no idea. But everybody has their own channel in their pocket.
Yeah,
I love YouTube. I'm on YouTube all the time, and yeah, it's a very interesting world we live in now. And the deal about Hollywood is, really, politics aside, I don't agree with their politics certainly at all, but they don't agree with mine, and that's okay. But from my perspective, and this has been true even since Dukes, New York, Chicago, and LA all think the whole world is New York, Chicago, and LA.
Agreed.
They don't have any concept of the life, the value, the importance of what they call the flyover states. Mm-hmm. And my wife and I were talking about this morning. They believe that everyone given an opportunity, of course, would want to move to New York, Chicago, or LA. I've lived in New York and LA, and I've done this every time. I am a dirt road guy. I'm a dirt track guy, but I'm a dirt road guy. So when Hollywood basically said, we're not doing any content that feeds or raises up not just the South, but anything rural. And they did that. You know, they've decided that everybody lives in at very least a small city, right? Except for the crazy people, you know, that have, you know, they're all, everybody else must be a Klansman because everybody wants to live in New York, Chicago, or LA. So they've gotten it so incredibly wrong that I know they would never green light Stand on It or Poker Run or Christmas Cars or really any of the films that we've made, because they don't think that those films or their intended audience have any value. Same thing with Southern Waves. I mean, if you're not 20 years old or 22 years old and really want to be a pop star, then you've got no business in country music because they don't want you.
Right.
You know, they want pop, young country. It's always been kind of like that. I remember when I was the young guy and Waylon and Johnny, neither one of them had a record deal. Mm-hmm. But the difference was when I was 22 and 24, I wanted to be Johnny Cash. I wanted to be Conway Twitty. I wanted to be Roy Orbison. I wanted to do some Hank Sr. You know, I was trying to be more and more like the older folk, and in my same vein. Nowadays, to me, it seems like the new country music artists are, and I use that term as loosely as I use the word president these days. It seems like they're trying to say country music is not enough. We need to be more like something else in order to be relevant. And I think it's major folly. I think their millions upon millions of potential fans are going to turn their backs on them as soon as a Randy Travis shows up, as soon as a George Strait shows up, you know, the new version of that. Then I think all of these other folks are just going to go away, and rightfully so.
Yeah.
My gosh, I look like a homeless surfer.
You look fine. You look like you just got up for an interview in the morning.
I've been up quite a while.
I will tell you, Jerry Salley is one of our friends here, and he left Chillicothe back in the early 1980s. Head down to Nashville, strike it big. He's been writing music for 40 plus years now. And I don't know if your paths have crossed, but I know that you recently played at the Grand Ole Opry, and he's been on stage there too. And is it just, for instance, you were befriended by Johnny Cash. Was that because Johnny could see what was happening in Nashville, and especially to young talent, and he said, hey, I want to help make a difference in your career?
We did a movie called Stagecoach. And he had already done a song called General Lee on the Dukes of Hazzard album. So John was a big, big Dukes of Hazzard fan, as was June. Maybe not as much as John, but John Carter was a big Dukes of Hazzard fan. They never missed it. So, and at the time we met, I believe my album, Memory Like You, was out. And that album went #1. So we met under very unusual circumstances. I'm a huge Johnny Cash fan, but before I had a chance to go up and say, Mr. Cash, I'm John Schneider, I'm a big fan of yours, he came up to me and said, John Schneider, he said Snyder, John Snyder, I'd never missed the Dukes of Hazzard on a Friday night, and I love your music. So it was, you could knock me over with a feather,
pause, isn't it?
As they say. Yeah, it was phenomenal. People want to remember, you remember the last music John did with that amazing song, Hurt, on it. People don't, and you go through Nashville, there's cash, 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 cash everywhere, right? Waylon. People people don't want to think that those legends were tossed away by the machine, but they were. And that's when we became friends. When I first met Waylon through Dukes, Waylon was a #1 music phenomenon across the board with "I've Always Been Crazy," right? So he was the biggest artist in the world. But when I had a #1 album, Waylon no longer had a record deal. Johnny no longer had a record deal. So we need to remember that the machine, especially on our side of it, the machine will eat its own eventually. The sharks will turn on themselves and they will expunge the very reason why they are there, the very reason why Capitol and MCA and CBS were successful, they got rid of later on in life. I'm not sure where it was just a very interesting time. So in looking back on it, Johnny gave me relevance in 1987, but that's not really in my heart and soul. And as a Christian man, that is absolutely true. In Johnny Cash, I saw a Christian who was not afraid to exhibit his scars and issues for all to see. But really, in 1987, in an odd way, our relationship gave Johnny relevance. I hope that makes some sense. And I hope that doesn't sound like I'm patting myself on the back, because it has nothing to do with talent, has nothing to do with skill. It just has to do with where you are at that given time. Yeah. It's a very interesting, it's an interesting business, and that was an interesting time. I did a special back in 1980 when It's Now or Never was on, and I produced it. And so a guest that I hired to be on my special, John Schneider Back Home, didn't have a record deal, had been thrown away by the machine, and he and I got to sit in a church in Georgia with one Steadicam operator, and you can see that on YouTube as well. But in 1980, the machine had forgotten about Ray Charles. John Schneider, who was a huge Ray Charles fan, said, if I can only get Ray Charles on my special, and I'm 20 years old, I can then die. If I can sing Georgia with Ray Charles, I'll be able to die a happy man at 20 years old. Mm-hmm. And I did, but I didn't die. I'm still here. But all that to say that fame is a cyclical thing. You know, it ebbs and flows. And I've been around it for a very, very long time. And it will, as John proved, it will come back. Mm-hmm. You just have to not get out of the game. So there.
Yeah, stay in the pool, and eventually it'll come back around.
Absolutely. Keep being who you are. That's another issue. A lot of people will try to be somebody that they're not.
Yeah.
They'll try to, they've got a favorite artist or something, and they'll try to be more like them. No, just be who you are. Mm-hmm. Be the most wonderful, talented, storytelling, insane, calm, whatever it is that you can possibly be. And if there's talent there, you can force the machine to try to build a box to contain you. What's happening in Nashville now is they've got a bunch of boxes, and they go out and they look for people who can fit in them. And then maybe they'll whittle a little bit of this person away, and so they'll fit better in this box. Don't let them do that to you. Don't let anyone convince you that there's anyone's story other than yours that you are here to tell. there.
Because as soon as
That's
you
all
do
I
that,
got.
you've limited everything and you've given them full control, and you lose your independence in that respect. So, and that can be said for
Yeah,
a
you lose
lot
your
of
independence
things.
and you can't sustain it. Yeah, you can't sustain it because basically it's a lie.
Right. Yeah.
You know, we ebb and flow, we change, we grow. As I could not ever have sung Younger Man when I was 25. I probably thought I could, but I didn't have any experience. I didn't have any gravel. I didn't have any life really to sing about. Uh-oh, that's my alarm is going off. What is that for? Uh-oh, I've got life to do. But anyway, you be true to yourself. You know, great old sounds corny, but the older you get, the more you realize those corny things are true. To thine own self be true.
Amen.
Right? Be equally yoked. John Cash, June Carter were totally equally yoked. John Schneider, Alicia Elaine Schneider, we are totally equally yoked. And it's not easy, but it's blissful, difficult work that I look forward to doing every single day.
Yeah. When you enjoy being with somebody, it makes all the difference. It really does. This is going to be at Atomic Speedway. You get a chance to see John. You'll have a chance for autographs, all that kind of stuff. But
oh yeah,
more so, you get a chance to watch him go around in the cars. So it's going to
go around in the cars, yeah. And also, you're going to see Stand on It. And I think Poker Run, we're going to have a big time. You get to hear my band. They're called Stars and Bars. So you're going to hear my band. They're great. They're right out of the mountains of Tennessee, out of Dunlap, Tennessee. So it's going to be a great time. And I'm going to be out there. I'm going to mix it up. I don't just go out there and fiddle faddle around. I mean, I go out there and mix it up. Got a great car from Brad Johnson out of Montana, and it's going to be a big weekend. And I'm hoping to finish in the top 5. You know, it's hard to race against a 14-year-old because they have no fear. They've never broken anything, you know. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and I hope to see each and every one of you there. Go to johnschneiderstudios.com and check out some of the music we've been talking about. Of course, you can get it on Spotify, you get it on iTunes and all that kind of stuff as well. But if you want an autographed copy, you have to go to johnschneiderstudios.com. The new album is called Southern Ways.
And we'll have links for all that information and how you can get tickets to see everything at Atomic Speedway, all in this post. John, thank you for making yourself available to us. And
perfect.
Looking forward to see you and to come to Southern Ohio.
Okay, I can't wait. You all take care and have a wonderful day. And stay free. Stay free. That's important.